Born in Europe, Nuremberg, Bavaria, Germany.
Then what happened?
We came back to the States, and then we went to Korea. Lived there for about 12 months, and we come back to the States. Basically lived all over the United States. Basically, army base to army base to army base.
So, mom and dad,
Yeah,
and your dad was in the service?
yeah, army.
Siblings?
Got a lot. Well, I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. 4 of my brothers, well, 3 of my brothers passed on. Lost one of them actually during the pandemic. Yeah, I took kind of a heavy hit during that. I lost basically 4 immediate family members. That was a hard hit. The rest of my family turned their back on me. I come back to Seattle, you know. It's like,
So you guys moved around a lot when you were kids.
yeah, and I kept moving around as an adult.
Tell me more about that.
It's like I went in the Army, kind of washed out of there. Got an honorable, but started hitchhiking when I was like 18. Been doing it pretty much ever since. It's like,
Anything stick out to you hitchhiking? Any stories you'd like to share? I bet you got a lot.
dude, I take on the hard trips. You know, it's like I hitchhiked from St. Petersburg, Florida, to Seattle, Washington when I first came here. It took me about 2 months. I was back in 2003. Yeah, it was an epic journey. I mean, by far and away, I found out about the Rainbow family. It's a bunch of hippies that got together out in the woods and shit. I hit Seattle, pretty much fell in love with the place. You know, it's like, this is my home now. You know, I don't know what you want me to say. It's like, what have I done since I've been here? Let's see here. I used to hustle beers down in Golden Gardens. I pretty much lived on that beach for about 15 years on and off. Got away with it. Once I started moving towards Ballard, here, I got involved in a lot of things. I mean, even though I was homeless, I did toy drives, I did food drives for people that had homes. I volunteered at Ballard Seafood Fest for like 7 years in a row. And I give back. Metro cut all their services a few years back. They left all these bus benches. I noticed nobody was taken care of, so I started taking care of them. You know, taking the money that I earned by panhandling or whatever, buy the lumber, buy the paint, fix them up, you know, make them look new again. And people just started tearing them up. So I was like, you're gonna tear them up, I ain't gonna waste my time fixing them. You know, had housing, didn't really care for it. You know, saw a lot of people ODing, dying, just right over there. Yeah, I don't know the percentage of the people that, it's like a roach motel over there. People check in, but they don't check out. It's not funny, you know, it's because a lot of these people were my friends. I've seen Ballard change for the worse.
Tell me more.
The drugs, just ruining everybody. It's driving them nuts. You know, they walk up and down the street screaming, stealing, fighting, attacking people for no reason. And I pretty much avoid them like the plague. Me, myself, I'm drug free. Drink a little bit of beer, smoke a little weed. And that's it. You know, just try to live my life. trying to extend it. My clinic seems to be working against me, so I have to find another clinic. Huh?
What do you mean?
Well, they miss a lot. It's like for case in point, I had this pain in my left leg, and I could never get rid of it. I'd walk like a half a block, and I guess stretch it out. I'd walk like a half a block, and I'd have to sit down and take a break because the pain was too much. I kept telling the doctors, they kept sending me to physical therapy, give me painkillers, physical therapy. I did physical therapy like 3 years in a row, and nothing was getting better. And I'm getting fed up with it. It's like something else is wrong. And I just happened to bump into a nurse at my clinic, and I was like, this ain't working. And she goes, well, it could be arterial. Because after 3 years, nobody thought about that. And they sent me in to have my arteries checked. Turns out I had a 99% blockage in the artery that goes in my left leg. I had no pulse in my leg. And I asked them, I was like, I need a pulse center, don't I? So they did an ultrasound, they put some dye in me, and they found it's like I had a 99% blockage. Went in, put a stent in there, and cleared it up. Little things like that. If they keep missing stuff like that, missing it, either that or I tell them what's wrong with me, but they don't listen. I don't know if you ever dealt with doctors before.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they pretty much made up their mind what is wrong with you before you even say a word.
Why?
I think they lost that bedside manner. They go YouTube it or wherever, Google it, and that's their diagnosis for it. I had to get my medicine to help me get rid of Hep C. They said, well, we can't give it to you if you're drinking. I said, well, how long do I got to go drinking? And nobody would ever tell me. This went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over like a 2-year period. I was like, fuck it, I might as well just quit drinking. So I stopped drinking on my own, and I was like sober for like 2 years. And finally I told them, I was like, ain't that long enough? And they sent me to a different hospital. I think it was Virginia Mason. They said, oh no, we're all about getting people their medication. It's Harvoni. It was $1,000 a pill. They got on it, boom, knocked out my Hep C. Shit like that. I've got to go find a new clinic. I just had a medical appointment this morning. The same thing. I got my first vertebrae is like disintegrating. Plus, there's a lot of pressure on it. These guys won't give anything for pain relief. Oh, they give you like ibuprofen, lidocaine. It's topical. It really, it gives some relief, but it doesn't knock out the pain. I don't know if you see that backpack behind you, but it weighs about 35, 40 pounds. And that's on my back constantly. That's what's causing this. I don't have a choice, It's everything I need to stay warm. So that's why I gotta go find a new clinic. But I was their poster child. They put me on the front page of their little magazine. They made a commercial about me, well, with me and my doctor. The day it hit, I really have to start drinking again. So I was a big fat fraud. But, I'm out here to get my health back. I made a mistake of moving to the East Coast. Hated it. After about 8 months of that crap, I hitchhiked back here. That took 4 months. 4 long months.
So in that adventure, what type of people do you ride with? Truckers?
Well, I try to, if I can get, a truck stop. But basically, I'll take any ride that seems safe to me. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty good judge of character. I've met a lot of people. I've traveled all over the world. I can pretty much peg who you want to ride with and who you don't want to ride with. You know, just a sense that you get. You know, I've had people invite me into their homes. You know, stay with them for a couple weeks. You know, and it's usually pretty good until there's an old saying: familiarity breeds contempt. The more you get to know somebody, the more you learn to hate them. And usually after about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm ready to go. You know, I've got a destination. You know, it's like having a mission. You know, you got to complete it. You know, I try not to get deviated from it. Stay on course. Once I get to where I'm going, I'll be all right. I had to come out of here. Normally I'm down south for the spring or the winter, and I come here for the summers. But I had to come here to get paperwork taken care of, get my Social Security straightened out. My insurance got all screwed up, so it's like it's been a 2-month process getting all this crap put in place. It's changed here in Ballard. It's not as friendly as it used to be, you know. Except for you, man. Come up like it's like, dude, I'm trying to get some change. This guy's giving me $20. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, this guy's cool. Is it all right if I roll in? I don't know. I like the adventure of it. You know, it's like a journey, but going through the journey is like the wildest, craziest shit can happen, man. Some of it's really, really funny, and some of it's goddamn always scary. You know, I've had people walk up on me in the middle of the night. I've had animals walk up on me in the middle of the night, you know. I've had cops drive me out of their county just so I'm not in their county. I've been taken to jail for PI just for having an open container. You know, fuck. You know, anybody else can sit at home and drink a beer and they don't go to jail. I sit out in the woods and drink a beer and they take me to jail. What the fuck? I learned how to stay out of those counties. It's like they're in a memory bank, you know. It's like, nah, this is where I went to jail last time. I ain't doing it again.
Have you ever been in prison? Or?
No. I got no felony convictions, no drug charges, no theft charges. I don't really do anything. You know, I mean, God forbid somebody assault me or something like that. I will, you know, deal with it. You know, I've had a lot of bad injuries placed upon me, and I'm not allowed. I'm just not gonna allow it to happen again. You know. One thing that tramping around the country has given me, it's like I'm kind of proud of myself because I haven't sold out. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't imagine what you guys must go through having an apartment and a car and have to pay insurance, electric. It's a never-ending litany of shit. You know, it's like, how does anybody do it? I mean, I couldn't even begin to process that. You know? For one, I certainly don't have enough money. Two, I wouldn't be very happy there. You know, if I'm not either planning a trip or on a trip, it just doesn't work for me. Damn it, I put the papers on wrong. Now the glue's stuck. I don't know, it's like I got a certain sense of freedom. You know, if I'm not wanted somewhere, I won't stick around. I'll take a walk in a heartbeat. A lot of people didn't believe me. When I tell them that, it's like, if this gets weird, I'm walking. You know, it's like, and it got weird, and I was like, I gotta go. Oh, you're leaving? You know, it's like,
What type of situations are that weird?
well, like, I was in Arcadia one time. It was on 420, and there was a big gathering out in the giant redwoods by this park. And I guess every year everybody gets together out there and goes out in the woods and just starts smoking pot. It's the green triangle up down there on the 101. And this old hippie chick, and she's sitting there talking to me. She goes, I like you. I'm going to take you home. I'm just, yay. So we get in a car. We drive back to, I think it was Eureka. And we're pulling up into the driveway, and she goes, oh, I got to tell you, I live with my husband. I was like, oh, no, I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. She goes, no, we don't. It's like, he lives upstairs, I live downstairs. He has his life, I have my life. I was like, all right. So I get there, and at first I'm treated like a king, you know. I get the special chair, you know. It's like everything's all nicey. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, she got real demanding. And she started hollering at me about, you go out there and tell that woman, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, lady, if you want to tell that woman anything, you go out there. And she pipes up, she goes, if you don't like it, you just leave. That's all I needed to hear. Started packing my shit.
So then the next adventure was hitchhiking somewhere else.
No, I continue on my journey, man. I had to get to Seattle. Yeah, you know, I hitchhiked up to 101 and boom, I'm in Seattle before you know it. I noticed that hitchhiking is getting really, really hard these days.
How's that?
Well, you got the pandemic. People are crazy now. I think half the world is fucking hooked on meth. You can tell the ones that are screaming, walking around. Hey, I'm doing an interview. No autographs. I don't know. It's fun. You know, it helps me relive some of my youth. You know what I mean? Because I started running away from home, I think, when I was in 4th grade. My dad was real abusive. He was like a monster. You know, it wasn't a little spanking for us. It was a belt with belt buckles, or a slap, or a punch, or just choked out completely. It happens. A lot more than you know, man.
Grade, what are you? 10, 11?
Okay.
Where'd you go?
Oh, no, it was just the one. Well, it wasn't even overnight, man. I made it as far as maybe about 2 miles away. It was about 10:30 at night. These 2 Atlanta cops pull up to me. Hey, what's your name? Back then, I didn't know about lying cops, man. I could have told them anything. But I told them my name. Yeah, he's the one. Back home. You know, it was kind of hard to keep me down. I wanted to see something else. Go somewhere else, you know? And I always knew there's got to be better than around here. You know, because we lived in Texas and Georgia.
What is it you would want the people of Seattle to know about you?
About me? Most of the people that know me like me. There's a few that can't stand me. But you can't please all the people all the time. You know, it's like the people, I don't know, it depends. Because, see, the people of Seattle, most of them are very giving. And I say thank you to that. But a lot of them have a tendency to look down on the homeless like they're pieces of garbage. And what they fail to do is look underneath, you know, look around. You know, all the people who are homeless are not the same. Some people take care of their stuff. You know, you don't leave a mess behind. You know, you don't disrespect people. You know, don't get loud, start shouting obscenities in front of kids or anybody. You know, try to be peaceful. Hell, I was sitting right over there practicing my ukulele, and this old guy comes by and he's got his hand in his satchel. And I didn't realize at the time, but I said, "Good morning, how are you?" Just give me a dirty look and everything. And that night I was thinking about it, you know, and I was like, I wonder if he was reaching for a gun. And the very next day, I was in the same spot, and here this old guy come up. And he come at me again, and he's giving me a dirty look. And I just kind of looked at him and I said, "Excuse me, are you reaching for a firearm?" And he pulls out an automatic 9mm out of his bag and points at me. He says, "Yeah, and I'll shoot your fucking ass right here and now." And I immediately started shouting, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun." Well, for my time volunteering for the Ballard, you know, Seafood Fest, it's like a Chamber of Commerce or a Better Business Bureau, that's their offices down there. They knew me. They saw the guy with the gun. And as soon as the guy with the gun leaves, I pack up my shit and I take off. Well, they're on the phone with the police. And when they call the police, they're here in 2 minutes. I didn't even make it around the block. You know, and I was sitting there, and they were trying to tell me, "You got to come back. You got to like tell them what happened." I got a little warrant on me, man. They're not worried about the warrant. It's like, all right. So I come back and I told the cop, and he says, "That's all I needed to hear." They go over there and they talk to the old man, and they pat him down, and then he reaches in his bag on his bike, and he pulls out that gun and he jacks the mag and it's fully loaded. Now, I don't know, man. It's like once somebody pulls a gun on you for practicing your ukulele, you gotta find another place to practice and really practice hard, because I don't think I was playing good enough for me. I must have been playing really, really bad that day. I don't know. But that's not the first. See, I was down at Golden Gardens. I've taken 2 guns off of guys down there. 2. Just walk up.
These other like homeless people?
Nah, one of them was like a kid. He was like a little black kid. And some guy's chasing him down the beach. And I'm looking at this kid, he's trying to chamber around in a pistol. And while he's busy tugging on that, I'm walking up behind him and I just grabbed him and face planted him in the sand. Got the gun, threw it away from him, and kind of tried to hold him down. His buddy comes up, runs, grabs the gun, and takes off. I was like, shit. So we call the cops. It takes them 45 minutes to get there. You see, it's like they were here in like 5 minutes for here, but it took them 45 minutes to get to the beach because it was me calling them. You know, it's kind of a shitty move.
Well, I mean, coming back to your hospital visits and it's just, you know,
Yeah.
I think there's an automatic maybe judgment of social economic status.
Swedish. That's Swedish right there. They call it diagnose and discharge. I mean, they'll tell you what's wrong with you, but they won't treat you. You know, and they're supposed to treat, stabilize, whatever. They don't do it. They absolutely refuse. I got to go to UW to get any kind of quality treatment. You know, I absolutely refuse to go Swedish. You know, that's where old, rich white people go to die. It's just the way it is. Oh, we were talking about the way people look at the homeless here. I don't know, it's kind of maddening, you know, because like, here I am trying to get my homeless friends like, don't do this, don't do. No, you're not peeing in their doorway, man. Don't do that. You know, and at the same time, the people, a lot of the newer people that are moving into these condos, oh, I spent so much money here. I shouldn't have to look. Well, should have checked it out before you got here, man, because we're not going anywhere. You know, homeless have been in Seattle since the beginning. Yeah, I mean, the white men were homeless when they first got here. They had to build their own huts. They didn't even know how to get by. You know, I don't know. But by and large, I've been pretty much taken care of while I'm here. You know, I appreciate it. You know, I really, really do. You know, that's why I don't try to do anything that really upsets people.
Chasing that kid. You got any kids?
Yeah. That's an interesting story. My first daughter was born in like 1985. And her mom decided she wanted to go running around. So she took my daughter and gave her to her aunt. I wasn't on the birth certificate, so I didn't have any rights whatsoever. So I stayed in touch with her, you know, over the years. Finally, she's about 17, 18. She has her first kid. And I'm up there one night. And I see her boyfriend. She's like 17. He's like 27, 28 years old. And I'm looking at her aunt, and I said, you let him take my daughter out? And now she's pregnant with a baby? You know, but I kind of kept that. Anyway, it was like Christmas Eve. And they're upstairs. Next thing I hear her cry out in pain. And she's crying. I said, that's it, he's got to go. He said, either he leaves or I'll have a couple of units come over here and make him leave. And he bolted out the door and hauled his ass back to Mexico. Well, me and my oldest daughter, well, I have another daughter that was born 5 years after her, but I lost contact of her entirely. I didn't even know her name or where she was at for her entire life. So me and my daughter, we have a kind of, my first one, every time I'd go visit her, she'd kick me out. I was like, tell you what, you want to see me? Come see me, you know? So my daughter, my youngest is like 32 years old this time. And she always wondered who her dad was. And when she turned 18, she got her one of those Ancestry.com tests. And she sent the results in, and years go by. Years. Well, my oldest daughter decided to do one too. And a few years ago, they got a hard match. So this is your close relative. And my youngest calls my oldest, and they're sitting there talking to each other. And before they knew it, they realized their two sisters were talking together for the first time. And I'm in San Diego trying to tune up my ukulele, and my phone rings. And my oldest daughter, I haven't talked to her in like 16 years. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? She goes, I found your daughter. I found your daughter. I said, what? Well, she found me. I said, well, let's slow down. What are you talking about? She goes, I found your daughter. I said, where? And I knew she was somewhere in Georgia. She goes, she's in Georgia. I said, where at in Georgia? And then she said, Conyers. And I said, that's her. I said, give me your number. And I called her up. And I don't really remember what was said. It was all said through tears. And I'm sorry. And it just, I don't know. It's just thinking about it brings tears to my eye. I was basically on the first flight out that I could get. I went out there and spent a few months. Not now. I spent about a month there. And I come back I went back to California and I'm hanging out on the beach again. I get another phone call. She goes, Nastasha's mad at you. I said, for what? You didn't go see her when you went to go see Jenny. It's like, what, does she think I'm rich? So I took a flight up there, and that turned into a disaster. Needless to say, while I was out there, I got aggravated with her son and a guy that had staying with him. There's two kids, It's like my grandson's like 16, 17, and his buddy's like 18, 19. And they got no respect for their elders whatsoever. And I got fed up with them. I went and checked into a motel room, and I lost one of my brothers. He just dropped dead of a stroke. So, packed up my stuff, got the first flight down there, made that funeral, and just had I went there to help my nephew out. And he basically just turned his back on me. I was like, why am I even here? I come here to help somebody. I obviously don't want any, so I need to be back in like Seattle in the summertime, so I had to figure out what to do. So, this gets interesting. This happened during a time, like right after COVID started, and I had got my Social Security, and somehow or another, see, when you get your settlement, they split the payments up, and one day I was checking my balance, and it's $16,600. And then I called a couple days later, and the $1,200 stimulus package showed up on there. So I'm sitting on like almost 18 grand large. My brother comes up and says, man, me and I ain't been talking, and you really need to find another place to live. I said, oh, that's all right, I just booked a flight. All right? Yeah, I'm leaving. I got a flight next Thursday. What are you going to tell me? I wasn't.
What's about that ukulele? How long have you been playing?
I don't play it. I practice a lot. When I lost my apartment, I went through an eviction. It took like a year, and I was in court like a lot. And finally, I got tired of going to court, and I called my attorneys up and I said, "Look, just tell them they can have their apartment. I paid up the rent all the way up from what I owed. I didn't owe them anything." He says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to Maui." So I got a one-way flight to Maui. Got out there, lost my wallet. Had to figure out how to make money. And I saw these guys playing ukuleles. And I just looked at them. I was like, fuck, I can do that. And I don't even know how to play. So I just went out there and bought me a $10 toy ukulele and just started strumming on it. Put a big smile on my face, and people started filling my hat with bills. Gave me food, gave me beer, gave me tobacco. Fuck, I was happy. And then finally the month came by, got me a plane ticket, and I come back to Snowmageddon. I don't know if you remember that. That was a few years back. So this is my fourth one. This is a Fullerton Stratocaster ukulele. This is my pride and joy. That's why she's in a hard case. This is my fourth one. And if you know anything about wooden instruments, they don't like the cold. That's why I keep her in there. And it keeps a lot of prying eyes out of there because I had bought something to use. Basically, when I got back to Ballard this year, I had like two ukuleles. And somehow or other, I dropped one of them and it broke its neck. And the other one was just out and out stolen from me. And that's when I made the decision. I was like, it's going to cost me a lot of money, but I got to get it. This is basically when the weather's nice, this is how I eat. You know? And like I said, I don't really play it, I just practice. Sometimes, you know, I put something together and people have a tendency to like it. You know? That's why I carry that around. It's a lot of weight, but it brings me a lot of joy. You know, that's all that really matters. If you enjoy it, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You know?
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace.